Hi, both Joe and Mike. This is going to be a quick review to get you caught up with what you missed in Thursday's class. We kind of continued, we're moving into sort of our research and discovery to learn a little bit more about the competitors, the industry that your project client, whether it's yourself or if you're doing this for somebody else, so you can understand the industry and who the customers really are. And it's important to understand who your users' needs are, which are your customers, because you need to know how they are thinking and how they're behaving, and incorporate that understanding into every part of your process to building a website. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually get to know your business or your client intimately. I mean, you really do. And if you're working for somebody else, this makes you an expert. It gains their trust. It lets them know that you understand and are willing to really work hard for them. And as for yourself, if you're doing this for yourself, it's very valuable, as a good roadmap for the project. To understand who your clients are. And I think you're going to discover some really interesting facts and what they're looking for. And it helps you, plan your services and your products, and really undercovers their needs, their wants, and why they're going to be going on the internet looking for things. And being educated in your various segmented audiences, because you're going to have more than one type of customer, and we're going to talk kind of briefly about that. But before we move on to that, what I want to do is I want to do a really quick review. We looked at a couple of the project canvases, which will help you if you guys haven't finished up yours. We kind of talked about nobody really had any struggles. But it was just really nice to see and kind of brainstorm a little bit. So let me show you one of those. I'm going to look at John's right now. So this is John's sheet. He chose to just kind of handwrite into it, which is a good idea, so that he can really keep working on his thought processes. He did tell us that since he did this, he has actually changed clients. He's actually got somebody he's working with that wants him to actually work on building a website for small carpeting and tile place, which is going to work out really nice. This person has never had a website, and we kind of looked at this and brainstormed a couple ideas, which are kind of maybe for you, Mike and Joe, if you're still in the process of working on this. There's no right or wrong answers. You might not be as elaborate, especially if you're working for yourself, but you might go back and fill this in a little bit. So, you can put down some success criterias. He was focusing on communications, and measurable was emails. Somebody else in the class wanted to track users, and there's different ways. I will be showing you guys how to use Google Analytics. And that way you can really start checking your users, how they're coming in. You can set goals to tell you if people are getting to certain pages that you want them to do. So that would help you track success criteria. And the purpose of your website, whether it's to market yourself, to get your portfolio out there. I think any of you can probably be able to do that. And setting up actions is a good thing. The brainstorming process needs to close in a timely fashion, and that is true, because that brings back to keeping it within the scope. If you start brainstorming and bringing in too many other projects within the project, you'll never get the project done. So keeping your brainstorming is a good thing, and John was keeping a good idea. He kept tabs on that, and there's different ways that we can work on that. But just wanted you to take a quick look at what one of your classmates had done, and he did a pretty good job. Everybody else, simple because everybody's sort of hesitant, but this whole process is basically just to get you thinking, because you just don't build a website because you want a website. Because as I told everybody in the class, you're not building the website for you and for your business. Your really number one purpose of your site is for those that are using it. You're going to have a product, your services, and yourself But if you don't build a good website that your users and visitors want to use, it's no good. So we're working with user experience and usability. We're bringing that into our process. So I hope this helps you a little bit with working on this as one of your assignments, and I'll be giving you feedback. Okay, now after just reviewing that, we're going to go back and we're going to start working on the next assignments and the next processes that come into play when you're designing and planning for your website. And we're going to look at your competitors, your industry, discover some trends, what's happened, where the industry's been, and we're going to try and look at learning about who your target audiences is and define some very segmented audiences there. Now, learning about their client's industry is very important. Now, this is a template that I use. You do not have to be as elaborate. This is posted so you can print it down to see the kind of information I was pulling while I was doing my research for the management consulting industry. You can fine-tune this if you are in the consulting industry. You can fine-tune this to specific areas of management. My client was covering a pretty broad area, and this helped us tune things in to what she wanted to cover. I searched by the year, so if you want to see if there's some current trends, so when you search 2016, the management consulting industry will help you pull up some of this information. And while you're looking, you're pretty much going to use Google for all of this, and you're going to discover maybe there's some online sources, the magazines that really talk about this. I got quite a bit from Insider Magazine for this industry, but so you'll learn the industry media that covers this, and you'll be able to research from those. And you can copy and paste. This is factual stuff that you're just going to put in a document for yourself or for your client. And that just helps them realize that they're on target. They kind of know where it's going in the future, what kind of money is expected. And I literally just go and copy this and just plug it all in. I don't really have to rewrite any of this. I might play around with some of these quotes. And you don't have to do this. You can just do a Word document, whatever you're comfortable putting this in for this class. I'm not expecting you to do this into anything, but it's an opportunity for a template if you'd like to. And then we're going to look at the competitors, and I say you need to look at least 3 competitors. And again, this isn't elaborate. You could just list something that you find here. And what I like to do to tell my clients, or even myself when I do research to redesign my website, I look at my competitors. I look to see what they're doing that makes them different. These guys are doing webinar workshops. They go out in the field, they have online stuff, and these are sort of the workshops they've been doing. It helped my client understand that she needs to do even more of that, or she feels more confident that she does a better job at this. And what sectors and clients I was able to define from looking at this Talent Minder's website, what sectors and who their clients were. And sometimes their clients can be governmental, nonprofit, what kind of service industry they're in. Those are kind of key things to look for when you're looking at your competitors. And I literally just copied their mission and vision statements so that, we can fine tune, how should our mission different from there? How can we write it? What are their specialties? And you can obviously find this. And specific areas I was able to find and do that. So when you're out there looking at your competitors, those are the kind of things to look at. And in a few minutes, I'm going to look at a couple websites for you. But I want to just quickly touch base about your segmented audience. This is a worksheet that I set up that I did for a maple sugar house. And there were some really neat surprises when they were moving online with their products, and to them they were just selling to their customers, either the people that came to the sugar house or whoever found them on the internet, or they figured they'd be sending people to the internet to place their orders. But we found some real surprises. I like to, when I educate clients on who their customers are, I like to give them a little bit of a verbiage so that it's sort of a story about who these gift seekers are, how they take an approach with a tourist, and it was just, you know, an interesting way to have the clients understand what these clients are like. And then it's nice to put them on, this is a high, medium, low, sort of a graph of where these customers are. And the high side on this side is willing to pay premium, so we can work on product pricing, and quality service, so that we can understand, you know, quality and what kind of content we can put into the website. So we had tourists who are very willing to pay top dollar. You know, the quality service isn't there, but they're very happy tourists want to bring home a piece of Vermont. Then we have gift seekers. They're people for weddings. Weddings are a big market out there for gifts, and the people are just looking for thank you gifts and gifts to send people holidays. This helped us understand that, you know, they were kind of a little above medium price range, helped us decide on some gift ideas. So this client decided to do some gift boxes. So she put in some of her pancake mix, syrup, cream, and she grabbed a couple Vermont sort of themed items to go in with it, some cookie cutters, and it was a whole new product line that she hadn't even thought about. So, and this is an ever-changing an item there. And traditional relationship, these are the people that remember going to their grandparents' farm and walking through and sampling the steam boiling and sampling the fresh maple syrup as it's made. These people like to share it with their grandchildren, other relatives and everything. They can turn into gift seekers. So, but they're not a high dollar people, but they like to learn about, so they're more of in the quality service. And the educational clients on this particular customer are schools coming in, tour buses. It's a big piece. They do not spend a lot of money. They're coming in to learn. But what's important about these people is they can turn into any one of the others because they spread the word. They go home, they remember the website, so we want to make sure that we get that website out to them, and they may start buying and purchasing. So see, this is just a good example to let you know how important it is to know who your segmented audiences are, and that you just don't have customers and visitors to your site. You have different people. They all come to the website for a different reason. So let's go over, and I'm going to take a quick look. I'm going to show you a couple searches and some things to think about when you're looking at your competitors, and to help you a little bit through that process. Okay, we're going to kind of investigate. I'm just picking the industry of woodworking. I've had a client that I've worked with before who does custom furniture making, and it's really a good idea to see who's out there. It also helps, you know, where can he market himself. That's one of the reasons why learning about them, because you can share where they can promote themselves. So I just typed in woodworking trends 2016. You can do the very similar search like this for the name of your industry, and various things come up. We can, you know, look at new trends in the furniture design. And here's very helpful. I would actually, you know, pull some of this. New trends in design is, you know, in antiques. What's new about antiques this year is the way we're pairing them with modern furniture, accent chairs. This would help your client, yourself, if this was your industry, of what is popular, what's selling, what's the newest thing, things on finish. You could probably pull some information from this. we could pop back over and look at a couple other things. Maybe this woodworking, machinery, manufacturing might have something interesting. Tools of the trade, or it may not. There might be some information here you want to skim over that you could pull out. This would be machinery, equipment, learning about what's used in the industry. Maybe there's something new. And then we could go over and researching competitors. If we go to this I searched for furniture makers in Vermont, and this was one that came up. So when you're looking at your competitors, after you've done a little industry search, also in your industry search before, you might have found magazines and some various media that you can use that would have that with some more information. So you just keep digging a little bit deeper and just doing some Google searches. And what you do is when you get to the ad, you make a note of how their site is sort of built. This is a slider as an open, just displaying. This would be a feature you might want to make a note of, that they were using a slider with images. You want to look at their about page. These guys, another feature that they're using is if you are local and you need to bring people to the business, this map would be a feature you'd want to make a note of that this competitor is using. And look at their gallery. They have a gallery, and this is another feature. This is what they're using as a gallery of just some generic photos. Let's see if we can learn more. Yep, so it's a full pop-up, so you can take a closer look at their work. You might want to make a note of this. And what kind of services do they have? Well, this is a pretty simple site. They're a retailer of hardwood. And I would literally just go and copy this over and put this in on their services. And that was a quick research of that customer. And then this was another one as a competitor, totally different looking site. They're using a different style, but they're using more of a wider, larger slider at the top. These are they're featuring major types of categories of furniture on their home page, as well as their regular navigation, which goes pretty deep. So this is featuring, so if I click on it, I will go to just bedroom furniture. So they've learned that their key audience wants to break the furniture down by rooms. So this is their research. So we might want to list things by room. Make a note of that. And this bottom area, this is called your footer area. Websites, you'll notice, are built in squares and grids. So this picture is taking the full width of the grid. So is this. But their format is a 4-column because of the 4 columns here. So this grid, works up and down. And then the whole footer is the whole width down here, done into 4 columns. But they also, we can take a look at news and articles. This is a pretty large site. Another feature they offer is they offer a newsletter. You might want to talk to your customer client or you to put in to collect emails to send out a weekly or a monthly newsletter. They also, you can order their catalog. We can see about them. Look, we can go right over. We got their mission. And you could copy. This is their mission statement. They got a little environmental, social responsibility. This is all stuff to think about, the types of content to build for your customer. And they do their story, their furniture, their team. This is a pretty elaborate. They have a blog. This is a very big site. So you might want to look at how in depth that this site is. So that's kind of what we're doing in the research. And then what we learn about the customer. We can actually, let me see what we can do. I'm going to just see if there's some reports on furniture. Oops. So yeah, so there's some furniture industry surveys and reports and research on. So I just was searching the furniture industry reports. And then this way I can probably dig in. I'll get some reports that might tell me who's buying the furniture, is it the female, kind of what the average income, versus expenditure. So that would help you learn about the customer. And if you're not quite sure, in class we can take a look at what you've got for research, and we can actually do some personas, which kind of is a walkthrough. We come up with stories with the customer to help define who they are. And I think right here, just looking at this this site, to give you a good example, it tells us that the customers like to shop by room, or styles. They did a little bit of research of how to do this. So that'll help you do some research, get started, be as in depth as you feel you need. If you get some really fun statistics, those will be very, very helpful. Now that you're off on your research phase, I just want to share with you, it's a good idea to use some collaborative tools. Sometimes your customer, your client that you're working with isn't in your same town. It might be easier just to post some stuff online. Or it's easy for you to keep things in one place. I use this online tool. It's free. It's called Trello. It's a great place to store images, all parts of a project, and you can assign people areas when they're responsible, so they're accountable for their content, whether they need to give you some Word docs with the actual text that you need, or they're supplying the images, or if you'd rather receive them, you can post and sort them and organize them here. I'm going to go over and show you this really quickly. This is actually one of my Trello accounts. I have it open. And I have several boards here broken down into, I actually have 3 different projects going here. It's nice to refer back and keep everything. Now in this particular place, I needed to, it was for a conference. I need to keep track of all the speakers' photos and their bios that came in, and because I was traveling a lot, and between the client for this needed a place that we both could see quickly. Did we have everything that we needed? Was it the quality? And what all of these are basically cards. This is a group of cards that are all stacked together. If I click on this, the card opens up for this speaker. And I can see here, I attach it, I've got the Word doc, I've got his short bio here, and yes, it's a high res, I've got his JPEG photo that I need here, and I can actually put comments in here as much as I want. And if I wanted to assign this to somebody, I could give it a due date, and they would get an email saying, ping, ping, see, that photo they promised, it needs to be turned in. So it's a project management tool. You don't have to use this. I just wanted to give you some of the tools of the trade. It might be a fun thing for you to do, just to keep track of this project in your homework. As I said, not required. But out in the industry, a lot of tools like this are used, and I just wanted to share this with you as well. And you just make a new board by clicking on, you're giving it a name, and save. And then you just add cards to it. So it's basically, you've got a category, and I name who these need to come from, who's responsible for it. So, and it's there, it's in the cloud, wherever you want. It also doesn't clutter my desktop that much. and it's just a good workflow and just a tool for you to play around with. So that was just something I wanted to share with you. So that's pretty much all there was for the second class. I'm just going to quickly make sure you understand a quick review of the homework that goes with this part. We have your competitor analysis. On the information's here, and that sample competitor analysis is here. Just, look at 3 competitors and just kind of review them, take some notes, things that you find interesting, and just write up a general little report, whatever's easiest for you, and then submit it online. And then the same thing goes for industry trends. You also will have a sample there as well. My internet is slow. I put an industry report that I had done. Don't have to be elaborate. You can just list key things you find of interesting, especially if this is for yourself. These are just notes to yourself. And I gave the same information and some samples for who your customers are. Do the best you can on learning who they are. I just want you to be able to realize that there's different segmented audiences and not just one. And this will come together if you do the research of the industry and the and your competitors first. And again, you have an example here. You can print. You can open up. So that's it for class 2. Good luck and have fun. I mean, the research is really to bring out some really interesting things to maybe come up with some sort of a niche in the market for yourself or your client, depending on who you're working for. So otherwise, we'll see you in the next class, which will be Tuesday.